Hey all, it's the 18th of December 2023, and welcome to a global storm outlook. We're going to look at various things from Storm Jasper to storms in South America, a big system affecting the northeastern United States. What else? Lots more stuff. Jasper is actually now an ex-tropical cyclone, but if we have to go all the way back to the 8th of December to see it as when it was at its maximum intensity, seen here from the Himawari 9 satellite. At that time, Jasper was a Category 4 severe tropical cyclone on the Australian scale, and was also Category 4 on the Saffir-Simpson scale. Highest winds were estimated at 220 kilometers per hour, 1 minute sustained. After that, though, the storm did weaken as it moved slowly towards the Queensland coast. And if we look at the 6 days leading up to the 17th of December, this is the infrared loop. And you can see how the storm stalled over Queensland, producing horrendous amounts of rain. And this has resulted in a lot of flooding, and some 12-hour records for rainfall have apparently been broken in Queensland. That's statewide all-time records. Many roads and houses were flooded, and Cairns Airport was also underwater. Earlier forecasts of the storm indicated that it was going to go into the Gulf of Carpentaria and intensify. This seems to have totally changed, and the stall was not well forecast. But now anyway, the rains have now shifted to north of Cairns, so Cairns looks like it's dried out a bit. But these rains are continuing north and around Cooktown and up in that area. Let's have a look how it continues over the next day or so. Heavy thunderstorms up in this region, continuing through Tuesday, and then eventually dying out with the then heavy rains, more persistent, typical up in the north of the Cape York Peninsula. Let's look at the rain totals. Rain accumulation is still looking very high for up here, not quite as astronomical as we saw down in Cairns, where there was over 600 millimeters in a 12-hourly period. We're looking at still very high amounts of rain, approaching 30 to 40 centimeters according to the European Centre model here. Actually, on closer inspection, it is quite severe rainfall still up in this area. We've got almost 40 centimeters locally up here in the next 24 hours in the European Centre model. Let's have a careful look at where that is. I think it's quite an isolated area, but that's a hell of a lot of rain. It's nighttime over North America. Looking at the United States, it's fairly clear what the big event is, and it's this noreaster moving up the eastern seaboard, bringing very heavy rain into places like New York. There's been a very large storm surge in, I think it was North Carolina or maybe South Carolina, Charleston, South Carolina. Large surf and heavy rain moving up then into Atlantic Canada and it's actually bringing very mild air, so a lot of this is rain and not snow at this point. Perhaps some snow on the northern edge. Let's have a look. Yeah, the snow is mainly for interior Canada, northern Canada, as the system moves up. Look at this horrendous rain into New York. That's going to be, there's a lot of warnings out for flooding in this region. But as we move through, the winds on the western side of the system will swing round to a colder direction, bringing snow into the Great Lakes region, as you can see over here. Storm system moves through, and then the temperatures plummet across the whole northeastern US and into eastern Canada, although it does look like Nova Scotia and Newfoundland are staying in the mild air for a little while longer, but eventually the cold air does win out. And actually the European Centre model that is shown here does suggest a quite significant snowstorm for Newfoundland as we head into Thursday. Look, that is developing up here. Let's zoom in a bit and have a look at that. So it's still this mild air bringing rain into Newfoundland, but then snow on its northern edge. But as we go along into Friday, that snow extends down into Nova Scotia, and it's all over Newfoundland. Actually, no, it's still mild on the eastern side, but then heavy persistent snow. Oh, it does eventually cover most, if not all, of the island by the end. Actually, how much snow is there? Let's see. As we go next 5 days, there it is. So it is actually 82 centimeters of snow in that region of Newfoundland. That's over the next 5 days. A heat wave and severe thunderstorms have been affecting northern Argentina and Uruguay in particular, actually. We've had a lot of wind damage reports, including this bouncing teddy bear or something at a concert where some people were actually injured. This was at the Palermo Hippodrome, where glass was blown in off the windows and thrown around the room. Terrifying scenes. Over most of Europe, though, things have certainly calmed down now after a big northerly surge moved through, bringing strong winds across various areas of the Mediterranean and heavy snowfall into Bulgaria. The high pressure has settled in, and this has allowed some really stunning views of the hills covered with snow. The mountains of the Alps are pretty clear. We just got bits of fog in the valleys in these Sentinel images. There was also snow on this small Greek island of Thassos, seen by Sentinel-3. Hopefully we'll get a Sentinel-2 view that's a bit more detailed, because I do like looking at these Greek islands with their snowy tops. Over in the Tatar Strait, this is between Russia and the island of Sakhalin, far eastern Russia. Strong cold surge of winds has been spinning up a nice sea ice vortex, and that was seen by Himawari 9 back on December 15th. It was also seen in more detail on the same day by the Landsat satellite, and here you can see the finer filaments within the center of the vortex. And finally, speaking of vortexes, this is an interesting thing I've been investigating for a few days. This is the Issyk-Kul, I'm calling it the Issyk-Kul snow vortex. Now this is something really weird. It's going to be a subject of future videos, so stay tuned for this one, and thanks for watching. See you in the next one.